Well, welcome once again to Falun. This is just a few moments ago the start of the men's skiathlon, 15 kilometers of classic skiing, followed by 15 kilometers of freestyle, and away to a really good roar from the crowd, which when you take into account the people around the trail, around the woods, would be some 10,000 on what is a beautiful day. It's chilly. That's as a result of the wind, which forced the cancellation earlier of the ski jumping for the Nordic combiners, which was a real disappointment, I have to say. And now we're live with the action as the men are out on the first of their rotations for the skiathlon here, and crucial as it is for a lot of these racers to their final challenge to really give themselves a chance of bonus points to move up the World Cup order tomorrow. So leading the way here, Kalle Halvarsson for Sweden, very much a hometown boy, Kalle Halvarsson. And the starting order based on the results from the sprint, so it was actually Theodor Pedersen who got away first, and up the first 1,200 meters you can see that Halvarsson has the advantage. They do this particular red loop 4 times, 3.75 kilometers, a steady climb, but the biggest climb coming at about 1,000 meters. And just a reminder that the giant slalom at Lenzerheide is underway on Eurosport 2 at this moment, but here on Eurosport International, a long way to go in this men's skiathlon in really nice conditions, I have to say. The air temperature 2 degrees Celsius, the snow right at 0, which can be problematic for the servicemen to try and work out the correct structure and wax to apply for the conditions that prevail. But in fact the humidity is reasonably high, and as a result they thought about salting out here on the in the woods here, but decided not to, that it wouldn't actually have much benefit. So up front there, 7, Paul Goldberg in the red for Norway, 23 moving up there from that's Liivo Niskanen from Bukati, and then also to the fore there 19 Eldar Ronin, classic specialist of course. 4, that's Ustegov in the far side, red hat, blue race suit for Russia, and 1 just dropping back a little bit as expected, Theodor Pedersen. And I can tell you that 1 or 2 have decided not to start. And I can just go through those non-starters for you. Emil Jonsson feeling a bit under the weather. Also Nikita Krukov, those 2 have not started. Lars Nelson, Alexei Petukov, Nikita Krukov, Emil Jonsson, those are the men who are not actually out on the track at the moment. So this first 3.75 kilometer journey, as I said, 1.2 kilometers, they start to move towards the 1,500 meter mark, and at that point they have the steepest of their climbs on each of these classic legs. It's a climb of 54 meters. It's the same as the women undertook earlier on, but because they're doing it 4 times, their total climbing on the classic section is over 550 meters, 572 meters. So just settling into a rhythm. And just to rewind, to refresh your memories, of course, Dario Colonia, the winner of the Olympic skiathlon, from Marcus Hellner, the bronze medal going to Martin Jonsrud Sundby, who has secured the overall World Cup for 2013. No matter what happens here in Falun, he cannot be caught. Maxim Legjanin was in 4th place, and Chanusov 5th, and the best Frenchman was Jean-Marc Gaillard. And Daniel Rickardson, the man who did so well to win in Oslo over the past weekend, the 50-kilometer classic, he was in 7th place, and since Sochi has just got better and better. Johannes Duhr was the best for Austria, Maurice Magnificat was the best for France, and Lars Nelson, who didn't start today, he was completing the top 10. So really good support around the track. Of course, this is the dress rehearsal for next year's World Championships. And if you've never been to Falun, well, the easiest way is, I guess, fly to Stockholm, and then it's about a 2.5 drive northwards, 2.5 hour drive northwards to Falun, this fashionable ski resort. Or if you come from Oslo, it would be about 4.5 hours to get here. So settling into their rhythm now. And once they've done that climb, as you can see, they go into a series of descents. And on some of these turns, the course becomes a lot narrower. In many places it should be and is around about 8 meters. But as you can see, it's not 8 meters wide everywhere. And this is the red loop, as it's known. The freestyle loop is the blue. And they'll do that 4 times as well. And, well, I wouldn't put you off coming here next year. I think it'll be a great Nordic Ski World Championships. Be very interesting to see. The hospitality will be good, and the preparation has been really good here. I just feel a little sorry for them that the wind got up today and denied the Nordic combiners their dress rehearsal test. Ski jumpers have been here before, so they've had a chance to test the hill, the big hill. And just having a look here at the glide of the respective skis here, which servicemen have got it right with their athletes. Ustergoffer on the far side there, just warning, I think, Kalle Halvarsson that he's around. Comes down into the stadium. Then they've got this climb, which I think will be very interesting when it comes to a lot of the championship races. And round you go into the stadium to finish the first 3,750 meters. So there you have the order there. Pedersen, Theodor Pedersen making up ground there on the right of your screen. 3, there's Kalle Halvarsson. 15 moving up, Krog of Norway on the right-hand side in the red race suit. 33 just behind. Now, that's a racer who's made up a little bit of time. 33, Yevgeny Belov of Russia. But still a lot of opportunity to make some ground here. I think at this point it's probably worth reflecting on the state of the Men's World Cup, because Martin Jonsrud Sundby, Olympic bronze medalist in the skiathlon, as I said, he has really done well this year. And as you see the standings at the first visit to the stadium, Sundby with 1,288 points before today, the dominant force in the Men's World Cup, and a great job done by him. Victories, of course, in the early stages of the season. He was the winner of the Nordic Open in Kuusamo, so got the bonus 200 points there. He was the winner of the Tour de Ski, so he got the bonus 400 points for that achievement. More recently in Drammen, Lahti, he won the 15-kilometer freestyle and was second more recently in Oslo for the 50-kilometer start there. So Sundby has been mighty consistent. There are not many racers who can constitutionally do that, but here we've got something the home crowd will look forward to. A 1-2. That's not a Swede in third place. That's Alex Harvey of Canada. Alex has been near to successes, and there's Jonsrud Sundby moving up there in the yellow bib of the overall World Cup leader, just to move into 4th place, just surpassing. Now, I'm not sure who that was he was just surpassing for a moment. I'll try and pick that up in a second. But up front here, making the pace here, this is Daniel Rickardson. Tall, powerful figure, full of confidence, wonderful to win the Oslo 50. Okay, it's a mass start. It isn't the traditional interval start, but to win that, to be on that illustrious roll of honour, to be presented to His Majesty King Harold, that's a lifetime achievement and experience that will be remembered. And a lot of time you hear people saying, oh, about the former winner of this and the former winner of that. Well, it's not. They're always the winner. Doesn't matter. You can say the past winner, but they're always the winner, and he'll always cherish that moment for sure. So now looking to go towards the next part of the climbing phase. So Ricketson through the 5 kilometre mark here. Now the bonus points, which is the bonus points which relate to bonus seconds. If anybody got confused during the women's race, I do apologise, because it is confusing to explain, but I'll do that in just a moment for you. Well, whilst we deserted you there for a moment, as the big guns are really moving up, Alexander Legkov there, the Olympic champion, 50 kilometres, has really felt great since he came back for the Olympic Games, and he's right up there with Daniel Ricketson, 25, and 5 there is Alex Harvey and Martin Jonsrud Sundby, who's right behind there in the yellow bib. The man who's just fallen back a little bit is Kalle Halvarsson, wearing bib number 3 for Sweden, and Legkov deciding on this classic leg, coming up to the 6 kilometres, and there's 15 seconds of bonus there for him, 12 for Ricketson, 10 for Harvey. It goes down to the first 10 who cross the line, all in line for bonus seconds. And plenty of opportunity here to pick them up on 4 opportunities. The opportunities at 6,000 metres, which we've just gone through, 13,500 metres, and then 2 on the freestyle legs, the 19.5 and the 23.2, and then there are extra bonus seconds for the 3 first, or the 1, 2, 3 across the finish line. So Legkov, a very strong statement here to go up and try and build a cushion of advantage. Martin Jonsrud Sundby first in the rankings, of course, the World Cup champion. Legkov lying second ahead of Chris Jespersen and Kalle Halvarsson, and Legkov certainly wanting to maintain, if he can, his place on the podium. Daniel Ricketson, who in Oslo picked up first place there, currently in 12th spot overall, but his achievements have been really noted since the end of the Olympic Games. Ricketson, who finished a very respectable 8th behind Legkov, currently just leading him at the moment on this second of 4 rotations. Coming around here, you can see the track just narrowing a little bit, and because 4 are away, it's not a problem, but if there was a bunch there, then that could be quite interesting. And you can see not only the twists and turns, look at this, downhill on the far side, drop down, come up, turn right-handed, then turn left-handed, rise up, drop down. So all the time you have to be correcting your balance, you have to be adjusting your technique, you have to stay focused. And although it's very much Indian file at the moment, the way that the first 4 have really split up the rest of the field, it's a challenging little track, this. And you could see that if there was a big pack of racers coming through here, then it would be easy to make a mistake. So we've got a Swede and a Russian and a Norwegian and a Canadian, and there you can start to see the gaps opening up now. Having gone through 6,000 metres, of course, they're on their way back down to the stadium, having done that climb for the second time. And Rickardson skis really running. It was noticeable in the Olympic Games in Sochi. What a great job the Swedes had done, perhaps until just the very last day, that 50-kilometer race. But everything else they seem to have got absolutely spot on. Alex Harvey in 4th place. Alex, who's in 5th place in the overall World Cup rankings this season, had a victory in Śląska Poręba in the freestyle sprint. That's his one big success individually in the World Cup this season. And so 7.5 kilometers, half the distance achieved now. And the gaps really are beginning to open up here. No Petter Northug. His season is done. Others further down the field, Egjanin's involved today. But of course he didn't do that well in the sprint yesterday, so he's playing catch up. Not out of it entirely. Jean-Marc Gaillard in the field. Also Bauer, Jespersen, the man who lies second in the rankings, wears bib 44. So half distance, 7.5 kilometers. Check on one or two of your favourites who may be further down the field. You can see there Egjanin, 14th place, 20 seconds. That's not bad. And that's showing signs of a suggestion that maybe he can get into this. Lucas Bauer in there, 20 seconds off for Sensev. Matti Heikkinen of Finland, 20 seconds back, along with Jean-Marc Gaillard. There's some very useful skiers travelling together and working together. And 19, here comes Eldar Röning, and he's leading this pack in there. 33 behind Yevgeny Belov. I think after that, that's Ustigov wearing 4. 3, Kalle Halvarsson slipping. On the near side there, 16, that's Martin Jaks for the Czech Republic. Just going through on the near side, 23, that's Ivo Niskanen, who was much further forward earlier on. 42, Dmitry Yaparov, and now back to the front 4. And really good cross-country skiing from these men. Double poling on this section here, but the stride and glide here. Rickardson, powerful man. And you can just see that upper body, those shoulders over the knees, driving down, putting the power through the ski to drive on here. And head down, slighter in build, Legkov, but still a powerhouse. And even smaller, even slighter, Jonsrud Sundby and Alex Harvey. So they're in almost order of height more than anything else. Or as well as anything else, I should say. And here come the pursuers. 19, Eldar Röning leading the charge. Eldar, great classic skier, but he's this year perhaps not produced the form that we've become accustomed to. Eldar now 31, but that should be no impediment. Just a question of how your season has gone. He's down in 35th place in the rankings. Go back a couple of seasons, he was as good as 10th. And of course, over the years, he's been a pretty good achiever, particularly in World Cup competitions, where he's achieved silver and bronze medals. Perhaps the silver at the Oslo 2011 15-kilometer classic race, the high point of his particular career. 7 World Cup victories in his time, and he leads the chasing group. Rickardson wearing bib number 25, still leading the way here. From Östersund, another great Swedish Nordic centre. like Eldar Roning, 31 years of age, and in fact, just looking at this, actually his birthday today. Something I hadn't quite noted until now, but Rickardson, well, this would be something special, wouldn't it, to be winning in front of your own home crowd on your birthday. So there's an extra piece of motivation. So 32 today. Oslo, a real breakthrough for him. He'd been a winner of a 15-kilometre classic World Cup race a few years back in Drammen in 2011, which was a race just before the World Championships. And Alex Harvey happy to sit at the back. Legkov for the moment pretty happy as well. He'll be conscious of the fact that the speed they're going is doing a lot of damage to the men behind. So through to 9,000 metres, but still quite a journey. Coming up here on this moment to not another bonus point. That doesn't come, that bonus second opportunity doesn't come until they reach over 13,000 metres. Legkov going on here, and deciding on that climb to push in and make a little break, and now leading the way here. 19 is running on the right, just out of your screen there. That's Devon Kershaw from Canada on the left of your screen. He's being tracked by Jean-Marc Gaillard, France, in the black and yellow on the left, to the man behind the leader in white there, and that is Devon Kershaw. Legjanin also in that group, but towards the back of that group. Not really making any impression at the moment, Legjanin. But of course, Legjanin, part of the famous 1-2-3 whitewash, the clean sweep in the 50 kilometers with Chernusov taking the bronze, Legjanin the silver, Legkov the gold. And Legkov, it's not a decisive break, he's just putting a little injection of pace in here. And as they go back into the stadium, they'll still have one more classic rotation to make. And interesting here that you've got a little uphill speed check. The steepest of the climbs comes on the freestyle track. Devon Kershaw not as successful this season as his teammate Alex Harvey in the overall World Cup race in terms of points achieved. And this is where again concentration comes in. Legkov powering around that left-hander, still completing the climbing section there. Devon Kershaw with a whole bunch of athletes behind him. Paul Goldberg there in the red, right in the middle of that. He's lost position. And whilst they like that, it's not a problem, but it's not a place to try and overtake, too risky. You could easily, if you made a mistake, just run off on the side, and that could be pretty serious. So into the stadium, one more rotation to go. So last time their advantage over the chasing group, which was then headed by Devon Kershaw and Eldar Roening, was some 22-23 seconds. Now we'll get an idea of what it is right now. In fact, that had stretched to 30 seconds. And one more classic leg to go, and you can see there that they've actually cut back a little bit of that deficit. They're back to, as you can see, sort of 22-23 seconds off the lead. Kershaw going through there at the check at 11.25. And there, the leaders just going out of the stadium. Big advantage. So no change up front now on this steady climb up to 1,500 meters, and then the big climb for the last time on this loop. And whilst they're doing that, Legkov, Rickardson, Alex Harvey, Jonsrud Sundby, that's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just a chance to bring you up to date with the women's standings, given tomorrow's 10-kilometer freestyle pursuit race, which will determine who will be World Cup champion for 2014. And Therese Johaug, as a result of today's victory, 1,345 points, and Marit Bjørgen 1,338. Now that is a gap of 7 points, only 7 points in favor of Therese Johaug. And that's the overall state of play. There is, of course, the crystal globe for the distance, and in that Therese Johaug has an advantage of, well, she's got 750 points, 45 points clear of Marit Bjørgen. So again, 200 points available tomorrow. Things could change in regard to that, and the reason I say that is because in the women's race tomorrow, Therese Johaug will start with a 15-second advantage, and will say to Marit Bjørgen and everybody behind her, catch me if you can. And so consequently, tomorrow, whoever crosses the line first will get 200 points, 160 for second place, 120 for third, 100 for fourth, etc., etc. Now, if you consider Charlotte Kalla, who is going to race her favourite distance in her favourite style, if she's got that last bit of energy left in her body and in her legs, 1 minute 35 she will start off the Norwegian Therese Johaug. If she could make an impression and come through and win that, then she could have a direct bearing on the points of the two Norwegians. So it's far from open, and it isn't just simply down to the two Norwegians. Niskanen in third place, also very much a threat, and today they earned 50 points. Johaug, 46 for Bjørgen for finishing second, 43 for Niskanen finishing third, and 37 for Kalla finishing in fourth place. It's a bit of a complicated points table. It's the same as it has been for the Tour de Ski and other competitions, but what matters most tomorrow is who crosses the line in first place. What matters today is Legkov leading on here, and these four men from four separate countries. Legkov from Russia, the host nation represented by Daniel Rickardson on the left of your picture. Norway, the neighbours, the perennial rivals. Jonsrud Sundby just sitting in there quietly in the red suit and that sort of greyish hat, and Alex Harvey not doing anything, deciding that he just is comfortable staying there, happy with the pace. But of course they've got this climb now, And this could be where one of the four decides that this is the moment. This would be a sort of leg cough moment, or could be, to try and get an advantage, to bring himself into transition with a little bit of an edge. And the camera angle foreshortening, but Eldar Roning there, number 19. You can see they've been reading them in. Alex Harvey just dropping off, leg cough increasing the pace there. And 13.5 kilometers. They go through there, and Legkov just accelerating sufficiently to get the next 15 seconds of bonus as he goes through there. So he's done the work on the classic leg pretty well. Here comes Roning, and the gap is, as I said, the camera was foreshortening, so you can see it's still 24-25 seconds. Belov, and then there's another little break there. 7 coming through Paul Goldberg, and the gaps are opening up as the pressure comes on up front. Top 10 get those bonus seconds, and through we go to the final phase now of this classic set of legs, and then they go out onto the freestyle journey. Rickardson back in front again here. Harvey moving up, and Jonsrud Sundby having to just respond. Tall man with long levers. Fantastic engine inside Legkov. Well, in fact, 4 fantastic engines. But really good to see Rickardson stamping his authority on these World Cup races as we come towards the end of the campaign. Roning pursued by 2 Russians. Closest to you, that's Bolshentsev. Also right up with him, Belov, who's been there or thereabouts going through. That was Matti Heikkinen in the blue for Finland. At the back there, that's Ustigov, another of the Russians, but a little too far back. But I think Ustigov is a potential champion in the making. I remember watching him over recent years in the Universiade, which of course is a very different grade, but he was an outstanding athlete at that level. And he really has translated this as he's grown in confidence and strength. Ustigov, a name for the future, absolutely. Has a range of racing as well. As they now come back in, and of course it'll be transition next time. Or I should say this time, as they get into the stadium, as they drop round. So all of them taking on some drink, and that's pretty important. The wind has made it chilly, but other than that, it's quite a warm day, and this is warm work as they come in now. And here's a test of their dexterity as much as anything else. Rickardson, Martin Jonsrud Sundby, they're all pretty closely packed here. It's an opportunity to make a meter or two on this transition. So it's another 3.75 kilometers, and here you can see that injection of pace that the front four put in here has opened up that gap to the best part of 30 seconds on the chasing group, as the leaders now go out on the opening climb. Now, the opening section of this to about 1,000 meters is not too dissimilar as to the classic leg, but then after that, at 1,200 meters, they go up a really steep climb, and they are climbing a long way. They're climbing from 1,000 meters, and they're really going up to about 1,600 meters. It's continuous climb. And it'll be interesting to see where the likes of Sundby and Alex Harvey, who are physically lighter built, less kilos than the likes of Legkov and Rickardson, whether that might be somewhere where they can try to profit on that big climb. So there we have it, and you can see the state of play. Plenty of really good athletes in that chasing group. So now, different poles, different skis. And the men's bonus points in these 4 rotations come at 19.5 and 23.2 kilometers. So Jonsrud Sundby, Legkov, Harvey, Rickardson, and Jonsrud Sundby. Another little drink taken in there, whereas in the pursuing pack, it's Matti Heikkinen now leading the charge for the posse chasing. Eldar Roning in second place. Heikkinen really moving on now, Matti Heikkinen, and decided that the chasing group not moving fast enough, and this is where he really wants to make the difference. Matti, 30 years of age, and of course the man who won the 15-kilometer classic in the Oslo World Championships ahead of Eldar Roning in 2011. Famous finish that. No individual Olympic medals at Sochi for Matti. Just worth remembering that I say that Rickardson, of course, he ran a wonderful race in the 50-kilometer competition, but in the men's classic, of course, worthy of a mention, the fact that he got the bronze behind Dario Colonia. He was a decent way back. He was some, what, 40 seconds off the leader and held off Ivo Niskanen of Finland by just 0.2 of a second to get that bronze medal. And they've gathered again. This is the big steep climb, and that's just to give you an idea of the altitude here. Harvey looking comfortable coming up here. Well, to be honest, they're all in pretty good shape at the moment. Alex Harvey. Very much the Canadian #1, son of the famous Pierre Harvey, who was both a pretty brilliant winter and also a pretty useful summer Olympian. Alex, who hails from the Club Nordique Mont-Saint-Anne. Once upon a time they used to have a regular alpine stop in the World Cup. It was over the eastern part of Canada. He lives these days in Quebec, Alex Harvey, and mid-20s, so many years ahead of good racing for him. 18th in the skiathlon in the Winter Olympic Games in Sochi. Biggest medal in a championship so far to date. That was in the classic sprint final a year ago, well, a little over a year ago, in Val di Fiemme. And was also pretty good junior silver and bronze medals individually as a junior. But has very much established himself in his own right and not existing under his dad's shadow, which is sometimes really difficult for a lot of athletes now. Just coming around here, you can see how you have to adjust the balance, and Legkov using just a few more steps, skis coming off the snow, and that allows Harvey, who's much more efficient, neater, tidier. Skis contact with the snow is greater, so it allows him to just skip away by an extra meter or so. For Ustigov. Interesting location for a little Norwegian encampment. And I'm sure that the atmosphere for next year's World Championships is going to be absolutely brilliant. What we have to pray for is this sort of weather, because that will make it just amazing. Last World Championships, well, the last World Championships in Oslo, we'd all hoped for lots of blue sky, but we had that sort of Oslo fog smog with lots of particulates, which wasn't really nice for the athletes, wasn't great for spectating. But if we could have this sort of weather a year or a little under a year from now, it would be brilliant. And that's a great picture. You can see there the leaders going away to your right, and the others not in the whole horizontal element of the picture, not in there. So many hundred, well, at least 100 meters behind, if not a lot more. And Alex Harvey, still the same four. Here they come, and as I say, that would be 100 meters here, and Heikkinen really upping the tempo. Röning has dropped back there. Ustigov is the man going with him. 30 coming out of the pack there in yellow and black, and that is Jean-Marc Gaillard, who's a good distance racer, and he's chasing up there on the man in white, Marcus Hellner, for Sweden, who's just getting eclipsed. He just doesn't have the tempo here. Heikkinen, though, does, and he's really trying to bust into that 22-second deficit that chasing group had. It's a really hard task to see him getting back on terms. There's Heikkinen, just going round there. Meanwhile, Harvey now, having completed the top of the climb, down they come into the stadium. Once they reach the top of the climb, which is about 1,600 meters, pretty well it's all the way downhill for the rest of the journey to bring them back into the stadium. So they've still got 3 more rotations to do here. It's just a little bit off, but nothing to worry about at this particular moment. Another drinks opportunity, and all 4 men wisely taking the opportunity as they go out again. Now we'll get an idea on this gap. 18.75 kilometers. Now, the last time we had this, the gap back to the leaders was 21 seconds, so Heikkinen accelerating, but at the end of the day, he's just holding the same race pace as the front 4. And that's the reality for Matti Heikkinen of Finland. Running behind him, Ustigov and Hellner, Belov and Volchensev. Those, as you can see, Paul Goldberg of Norway, 42 seconds back now, and Goldberg Volshentsev actually 42 seconds back. He's lost 7-9 seconds in the last kilometre or so, last 2 kilometres. Well, the pressure going on there. Martin Jonsrud Sundby making a move, and well, this could be very interesting. Up with the leaders now, and second leg in now. Sundby, Legkov, you can see there 5 seconds back to Rickardson, and that was a crucial moment there. The extra pressure applied by Martin Jonsrud Sundby, who really wants to show that it is possible to be a top man from the end of November all the way through to the middle of March, and that would be quite something. It really would, and you'd have to really take your hat off to him, because there are a few who've been able to sustain that sort of form and yet also in an Olympic year go to the Olympic Games and achieve individual medals. There's the other fact there, a little bit of a extra burst there by Sundby to take some bonus seconds off the likes of Legkov, and they're back again now. Sundby, a bronze medal in the skiathlon, and Sundby fourth, of course, in the 50-kilometre finale, 0.2 of a second out of the bronze medal denied to him by Chernusev of Russia. And Rickardson is the man now who's just struggling a little bit there. As they come up this big climb. Really interesting piece of course design, and Legkov staying tough. Alex Harvey tucking in, deciding that this is not the moment that he wants to be leading. And there you've got the ranking for the start sheet, well, the virtual ranking for the start sheet for tomorrow's finale, the 15-kilometre freestyle pursuit race, but I don't think we'll bother about that too much at the moment. Let's see what happens as they come up here. The interesting point is whether the chasing Matti Häkkinen has done anything about the deficit. The answer, as you can see there, is no, and Jean-Marc Gaillard into 5th place, and now looking better. Häkkinen quite bent over, almost double there, really feeling the effects of this hill, and Gaillard, but with a really tough call here to eke back this sort of deficit. Gaillard with 36 seconds to make on the front four. That's a big, tall order. Häkkinen 38 seconds back. They've lost, I mean, they've really lost about 10 seconds in the last two, between the last two timing points. And that is quite a, in fact, I'm going to say since the stadium, actually, the last time, they've actually lost, what, 1.25? Yeah, in the last couple of kilometres, 10 seconds. So that's quite a deficit at quite a crucial point in the race. Heading towards 22.5 kilometres. So halfway through the freestyle races, or the freestyle leg, I should say, and now Legkov, sorry, not Legkov there, that's Ustugov leading that little group there from Gaillard. There's Haken in the blue in third place in that chasing group of four. So a front group of four, a chasing group of four. Absolutely gorgeous afternoon, and there may be many more than 10,000 around here. Some of them may have chosen to actually go off on skiing, and there you can see Rickardson there past the wigwam, and the gap is growing, and it's growing to a differential whereby he might find it difficult to get back unless the front three start to play a bit of cat and mouse, and I'm sure they're not going to do this. This is Sundby at the front of affairs, the World Cup champion, as we must now call him correctly for 2014. Sundby, who didn't have a hope really in the sprints, but had to participate in the sprint yesterday to make sure that he was eligible to go for today's race. You can only collect your bonus points if you complete the whole of the trio of races. So Ustigov close to the podium yesterday, and Heikkinen and Röning. And Rickardson still trying hard, all credit to him. Jonsrud Sundby from Oslo, in terms of where he lives these days. 29 years of age, and really to have done what he's done this season, quite remarkable. He was a world silver medalist, you might remember, last season in Val di Fiemme in the skiathlon, the very race he's undertaking today. So he's mighty consistent, and the last two seasons have really seen him come to the fore. Much of it is also due to the fact that he's had 2 seasons of trouble-free preparation and just the odd minor cough and cold, nothing too serious. And believe me, that's so hard to achieve. Not 1 but 2 consecutive seasons without any medical issues. That's terrific. So 7,500 meters to do now for the leaders. Rickardson would be, what, 40 meters off them? Says 5 seconds, 4.9 seconds. Ustigov and Gaillard and Heikkinen and Röning swinging round into the stadium now. You sense there'll be many a classic finish in a year's time at the World Championships as they come around that right-hander and then head for the finish straight. 44 seconds. The gap has grown a bit again, and the leaders just to your left there, top, cresting the little riser on the exit to the stadium, over the bridge and away, and the next group coming in. Legjanin 65 seconds off. Shirota likewise. Bolshentsev, who was there or thereabouts at one stage, now dropping away, likewise Helvarsson. There's the state of play. And the way that Legkov's going at the moment looks really with a great chance, I have to say, of holding on to that second spot overall. Just thinking for a second about Legkov and the distance rankings, because there's a separate globe for that particular competition as well. Try to get to that in a moment if I can. So 150 metres to the next set of bonus points, but the leaders through that, of course, already. First 10 across each line here still pick up some bonus points. I was talking momentarily about the distance rankings, which I think, from my memory, Ledkov still leads. So plenty to play for, and plenty of reason for Ledkov to want to win this race. And there again, Sundby with 3 more bonus seconds ahead of Ledkov, but Ledkov perhaps gathering himself. You sort of think now we're down to 3. Rickardson unlikely to get back at these 3, and these men here on this hill there. Ledkov at the back there, perhaps the man under Grady's pressure, but Sundby now beginning to push on a little bit. This is where he can make that power to weight ratio really count here. Skiing very fluently, Sundby. Alex Harvey under a little bit more pressure. Ledkov having to work harder, not as well connected, and there's Rickardson in the background. And here's Sundby up this climb. Now, is this the moment that he wants to get away? And here's our director's favourite camera move to see them head on here. "6,000 metres from home." Sundby by a whisker from Ledkov, Harvey and Ledkov, I should say. And Rickardson, the gap growing, but I still think he's secure there in 4th place. At the moment, I can't see too much danger. The others are about 30 seconds behind him. And you can see this remorseless climb that they're on to, and then it's the downhills to take them back into the stadium for the penultimate time. Sundby doing exactly the right thing as you get to the top of the climb, little acceleration. And now you can see it's over 50 seconds, so nobody's really going to touch the front 4. These guys just haven't been able to make any impression, and remember there was a group of them getting away, and now that group of 4 has almost become 6 and might soon become 8. Leading the chase, Eldar Roning in the red. Now Harvey deciding that he's happy to lead down here. Might this be the moment where he feels his skis are running and thinks he can get away a little bit? Switching the weight from outside ski to outside ski. Those little steps around. The fewer you take, the greater the contact on the snow, the more you maintain your speed. The technique of Harvey is good. Ledkov, just that little rough, just a little rough around the edges, shall we say, but he's got the heart of a lion, Ledkov. Rickardson just finding the pace too tough on this freestyle leg. And Rickardson safe in 4th, I think, at the moment. Can't see any reason why he's going to lose that. 7th in the Olympics. He was actually behind Gaillard at the Olympics. Behind Sundby, of course. Strange, of course, not to see the names of Dario Colonia and Petter Northug to the fore in the overall World Cup rankings, but for entirely different reasons, for medical reasons as much as anything else. Those two men not figuring in 2014. Dario Colonia coming back from a really tough surgery on his ankle to produce the goods not once but twice at the Olympic Games, and Petter Northug contracting who knows what, some sort of virus that has really debilitated him and really reduced his chance of racing as effectively as we've come to expect over the years. And now within the roar of the stadium, Canada from Norway, Norway from Russia, Russia from Sweden. Rickardson, big cheer when they came out onto the starting line for his success last weekend in Oslo. And also the fact that one has to remember that the Swedes, they came home after the Olympics, but this is their first time competing in front of their home crowd. So you can imagine with all the success that the Swedes had had, not least winning the Olympic relay. When you think about it, Marcus Hellner winning silver behind Dario Colonia in the skiathlon, and then Emil Jonsson and Theodor Pedersen, silver and bronze medals at the Olympic Games. Perhaps a little fortunate for Emil Jonsson, but that was event number 2. So medals in those 2 events, and then on to the 15-kilometer classic, and Johan Olsen only denied by Dario Colonia, Daniel Rickardson as well, 2nd and 3rd, and then on to the relay, and Sweden magnificent in that. Nothing sadly in the team classic sprint for them, and nothing in the 50, but I say nothing. Södergren was an excellent 7th, Rickardson very respectable 8th. So now the leaders dropping down now. It's going to be between these 3, but who is it going to be? So here we are, the last skiathlon of the season, and the World Cup leader, Martin Jonsrud Sundby for Norway, takes over from Canada's Alex Harvey with the Olympic 50-kilometer champion, the man who rise 2nd in the World Cup rankings, to Martin Jonsrud Sundby, Alexander Legkov there. Daniel Rickardson for so much of the journey, close up, making it a foursome. Now the pace has really defeated him, but he in turn, although he's losing ground to the chasing posse, I doubt that they can quite get to him in the next 3,750 meters. And here they come. Eldar Röning up the front of the chasing group. In fact, that's Ustigov, and then Röning, and then Gaia, and then Heikkinen, and latching on to that group right at the back. Didn't quite catch who that was, but oh, Bauer. Beg your pardon. Lucas Bauer. So the majority out now on to their final loop here. So this is the state of play, and you can see there that 45 seconds separates Daniel Rickardson from Eldar Röning in Rickardson's favour, and that should be enough to see him home at least in 4th. So up we come, this initial 1,200 meters here, as they dance their way up this easy bit. But now remember, these men starting with a full tank of petrol, but each lap, each rotation, that tank getting lower and lower, and all the time all 3 men conscious of the fact that they have to leave themselves with enough gas for the final bursts, and where are those final bursts going to come from? Who would do best in a sprint? Well, Alex Harvey is a sprint medalist at World Championship level, and probably he would be the most favoured. So you probably would be thinking now maybe Martin Jonsrud Sundby wants to make a move, and is it going to be on this big long climb? Haven't quite got to the base of that yet. And Harvey, Legkov looking still pretty good, and Jonsrud Sundby 1.5 meters or two just off the front two. Alex Harvey nicely through there. Snow getting a little bit dirty now, but no matter, this is the last time they'll be covering these sections of the track, and now really beginning to get onto the climbing section here now. Who is going to play their cards first here? That's the interesting factor. World Championships next year, so a good day's racing here will be a nice confidence boost. It's been a good opportunity to check out the trails. Another one tomorrow. Shorter loops. Just by the jumping hill, and now this is preparation time. Swinging round now, left-handed, and here we go. Now, does anybody fancy this moment as the moment of choice to go after this? Sundby, who's now back and close enough as Harvey goes up. Legkov just gritting his teeth, staying in there. In fact, open mouth. In fact, all three men open mouth as they come up here. 2,200 meters to go to the finish line and the spoils. So Harvey, Legkov, Sundby, as they've been now for pretty well the whole of this freestyle section of the race. Rickardson digging deep here, coming up, but he's clear. He's clear of his pursuers. 20 seconds, he's lost another 5 seconds to the leaders, but he can afford to do that as you see these front three now, and this is where each one of them will be assessing where they are, how much they've got left, where they need to move. Sundby at the back there being forced to work quite hard here to stay with them, and here you'll get the gap. As you can see, Rickardson still got the best part of what he's got, more than 40 seconds with 2,200 meters to go, so that'll be enough. Legjanin made progress, but he's 60 seconds off. Haken at the back there. Dayard just in front of him, and now here we go, the drop down. Sundby just 1 meter or two off. His skis not as effective here, and if it comes down to double poling strength, well, Legkov might be the man here. Legkov hunting, really is stalking Alex Harvey. Alex Harvey quicker, very quick feet, Alex Harvey. Again, another twist and turn round here. Legkov looking a little bit ungainly and getting into those skating steps. And Rickardson, visually, you can see there the legs not exactly jelly, but on their way to being jelly with all the exertion. And here's a breakaway here. You can see that these men up front, they've all got their individual race plans. Need to get back to the leaders now. Alex Harvey ahead of Legkov, ahead of course of Sundby, and apologies for the loss of pictures, but here they come now into our scope, and all three still with a chance. The best glide of any of the three skis coming on Harvey's skis. Legkov skating, Sundby chasing, gathering up, and 1,000 meters, 1,100 meters to go. So they're still all together. And remember, when they come into the stadium, they drop down, but then they rise up, and then they're right-handed as they drop down the final slope into the straightaway to bring them towards the finish line. Sundby just, is he feeling the effects? Is he just struggling to keep pace with the front two? And gets an opportunity to stand tall, just release the arms, the lactate building up, the legs will be burning as well. Harvey skipping round here. Oh, Legkov, almost an unforced error. He was right on his toes. He recovered really well there. That could have been horrible. So still Harvey, Legkov, Sundby, Canada, Russia, Norway. And this is what the crowd have come to see here. They would have wished that Rickardson could have stayed with them to give them a real Swedish involvement. But he's getting the cheers and support. And the crowds have really come out now. It's over 10,000 for that, I'm sure now, because as they drop down now into the stadium, here comes Rickardson, and Legkov takes over, and Alex Harvey shuffled back to third place, and almost too much pressure on the inside ski there from Jonsrud Sundsby, whose skis now race up there to those of Legkov. So Norway now being chased now as they come up this slope now. Harvey moving, Legkov caught a little bit there, and it's Sundby's pace that goes now. Sundby deciding that's the pace to go. A little bit reminiscent of Sochi on that final big hill. Round they come now. It's Norway, Canada, Russia. The 1, 2, 3, 100 meters to go. Norway and Alex Harvey, a former bronze medalist at the World Championships in Classic Sprint. He's on the left. Sundby's on the right. Canada on the left. Norway on the right. Ski for ski. Who's going to lunge first? The man in white is going to get there. Alex Harvey gets the victory. Alex Harvey wins the Falun skiathlon. Legkov is completely angry with himself for finishing third. Absolutely mad at himself, because he knows that he's given points away to Sundby in the distance World Cup rankings. Daniel Rickardson, a gutsy fourth. That's what it means to Alex Harvey to win here. And could that be a great omen for next season for Alex Harvey? Big fight on here. Röning not winning it, I have to say. And in there goes Leg Zhanin for Russia ahead of Röning. Röta coming through late. And then Gaillard. And Alex Harvey, well, he had a success this season in Oberhof in the 4.5 kilometer freestyle prologue. He also, of course, had that victory in Svazka Poreba. And now his third outright success of the season here in Falun. Devon Kershaw, his teammate. Here you can see it. Harvey closest to you, Sundby furthest from you. And at the end there, he just had too much for Sundby. He had that little bit extra. And by a ski length, takes the day in Falun. Confident that he had what it was necessary to win the day. Legkov really furious with himself. Although I can sort of understand. There's Ustugov, who's run out of gas, and Ustugov coming in, and Paul Goldberg wearing 7. 17, Bolshentsev, once there or thereabouts during the race, but in the second half couldn't make any indentation into the leaders. Oh, and can't pick out who that is from the finish. What a place to fall and lose places. Noah Hoffman for the United States. Oh, who is that? That, I think, is Hakali Halvarsson of Sweden. It is. Oh dear, what a pity. Well, an excellent finish to a really good race. It shows you what a good athlete Martin Jonsrud-Sundsby is, to be such a dominant force throughout the entire World Cup season. That makes it very special, and to medal at the Olympic Games as well. So congratulations to him, and to Alex Harvey in particular for an excellent victory, a skiathlon success here, which can only give him great confidence for next season. And Legkov, you'll just see him coming through there, and you'll just see how annoyed, well, you were going to see how annoyed he was with himself. Well, tomorrow, of course, it's the final race, the women's 10, the men's 15. For now, though, bye-bye from Falun.